on in the world today. And one of the things that this person, and I don't know a thing about astrology really, but one thing that he said was that there's two important planets that are in return right now, and one of them being Pluto. And that Pluto was a planet that represented transformation. And one of the transformative pieces that Pluto represented was an opportunity for the planet to come back into relationship with its source, or with love. And so the way this guy described that was that what is coming up in this time is everything that is unlike love. All the divisiveness, all the divisions, so that we as individuals and collectively could have an opportunity to purge places where we are not one, or places where we are divided. I thought that was really insightful and kind of resonated, even though I don't know much about the astrology. It resonated with something that I was also feeling for this time, and kind of intuiting for this time, that even though it's a very, of course there's multiple levels of things going on, but that one of the things that seems very present is this sense of being cleansed, or being purged of all the divisions within ourselves, all the ways in which we are not one with ourselves, not one with each other, not one with spirit. So I thought that was a really interesting piece, and the reason I bring it up is because I think it highlights, last week, feels longer than that, or shorter, I don't know, I can't decide. But, one thing that I mentioned last week was the powers of the universe, and aligning to practices that put you into connection, kind of plug you in to the will and way of spirit, or the transformative process of spirit's unfolding in evolution. Those practices, some of the practices that I highlighted was keeping a journal, and meditating, and essentially life itself is the practice. That life itself is the teacher. That your life is your greatest teacher. And I had a teacher that would joke that if you wanted to know where you needed to grow, or where you were stuck, just keep living. And you'll find out really quick, right? So, I remember as a young adult, even as a teenager, I started to meditate at a very young age, 13, 14. And not that this matters necessarily, but the form of meditation that I was first introduced to was centering prayer, and kind of the contemplative dimension of the Christian faith, and some of the practices of the desert monks. And I remember reading Thomas Keating and loving that, all the stuff that he had to write. And, so I kind of delved into the practice of meditation early on without any formal training, but I had a sense that I kind of just intuitively knew how to do it, how to sit and be awareness. essentially, as all the thoughts and feelings and imagery and everything that is available to the interior space came and went. And, you know, and I feel as though I quickly developed in that path, almost as if I was picking it back up from right where I left off, some other lifetime or something. There's like a re-engagement with, oh yeah, I know how to do this. Yeah, this is what I do. I'm a contemplative. I'm a, you know, and and when I was about 18, I remember talking with, you all know Sister Pat Bergen. I remember sitting with Sister Pat and telling her that, you know, I wonder if, you know, my next step is to really take this to the next level, to kind of separate out from life and become a monk or something, right? And I don't remember exactly what she said, but something along the lines of, you know, yes, that's available to you as an option, but if you are going to teach, if you're going to lead people or guide people in any way, that it's going to be your life and your experience that allows you to connect with people with compassion and understanding. And essentially a validation that life is the path. And, you know, if you look back into the traditions, you know, you can see there was not only a time period where that kind of is what spiritual, the spiritual path looked like, kind of the way of the Arhat, to separate out from the world and go and meditate in a cave, right? We all have those archetypal images of the mystic or the monk. And at some point, there was a shift in understanding, a shift in humanity, a shift in consciousness, where there was a new understanding. And it was one that more resonates with the path of the Bodhisattva, or the path of compassion, where the mission in that kind of vein is about become enlightened as fast as possible, or as quickly as possible, and then go back into life to awaken all souls, or to awaken all beings, or to awaken all beings to their already awake nature, to their ever-present awakened nature. And so I bring that up, and I just want to kind of light that up a little bit, that life is the path, that life is the path, life is the teacher. And sometimes we have very difficult teachers, right? And sometimes our teachers are very sweet, gentle reminders. Sometimes they kick us in the ass. And so both are available. Okay. So let's take a moment to kind of get everybody here. Well, I guess first and foremost, I just want to kind of check in with everyone and see how everybody's week was. And if anything they want to comment on, or even a question, I'm open to that. Anyone can start.
It's Susan, Tim. You know, one of the things I've been exposed to over years is the chakras, but I never really felt inclined to get heavy into them. And so now when you mentioned sometimes your knowledge can get in the way of your awareness of what's happening right now, I seem to be struggling with that. I want to know more about the chakras than I already know where they are. But I don't want to, I'm somebody that if I read it, it's in my mind. You know, so
Mhm.
how do you find out more about something like the chakras without impacting your own inner awareness of where you are and what's happening within you regarding that?
Thank you. It's a great question. And I think it speaks to something that probably everyone has a question about, and that is kind of foundational to this whole thing. And that is that there's different ways of knowing something. Okay. So if you notice awareness, awareness is intuitive by nature. That the first thing you do with your awareness is you perceive information at any level intuitively. You connect to it directly. And then a secondary process kicks in, and we start to interpret what we perceive, make sense of it, name it, describe it to ourselves. And we're using our interpretive frameworks that we have available to us as kind of a secondary analysis of the information that we intuit. So 100% of your psychic abilities are available to you right now. It's not something that's in the future. It's not something that you're going to have once you learn some techniques. 100% is available to you right now. You already see clairvoyantly. You already feel intuitively. You know intuitively. All those abilities are working right now. But then you might think, well, why don't I see what I see? Know what I know? It's a good question. Part of it is that you're not in the habit of recognizing what you see. So just, your physical eyes, you can open and you can close. You see, you don't see. Your mind's eye is always open, is always recording your experience and the data that is available at each given moment. And that data is recorded kind of, I don't know how to say it, maybe holographically. So it's recorded as an image, but it's an image that has smell. It's an image that has feeling. It's an image that has sound. It's an image that has a whole bunch of information that you can read at any level, depending on the register, depending on the chakra that you're reading that energy from. Okay? So you're already 100% intuitive, 100% psychic right now. So that's the first thing to get past. Okay? Because when you say to yourself, well, I'll be, I might be psychic down the road when I learn what this goofball has to tell me. Well, then you are putting it into the future, which actually doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. It's just a figment of the imagination, because the future, whenever you bring the future into mind, you're bringing it into a present moment where you're looking at the future in the now. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, these interpretive frameworks that we have available to us, these grow and develop and become more and more sophisticated. So, if you have a profound mystical state experience in meditation, well, then you might leave that meditation and you start to think about it. what happened? What was that? What was I experiencing? What was that inner knowingness? What, everything. And so that interpretive process is secondary to the direct knowing that's taking place. And you could call that your spiritual intelligence, which is just like any multiple intelligence, but it seems to be a line of intelligence that answers the question of what is of ultimate concern to me. Things like, what's the meaning of life? What happens when I die? What is God? Who is God? Who am I? And some of these deeper questions we answer with our spiritual intelligence, and the way that we think about those questions is that intelligence. But it's slightly different than the intuitive processes that are direct and immediate. That's kind of how we wake up, how we come into direct, immediate union with spirit. And then when you answer the question from that space, what is the meaning of life? It's something you know immediately and directly. It may take you a lifetime to explain it or to understand it, but you know it immediately in that union with spirit. What's the meaning of your life? What's the meaning of life? Because from those interpretive frameworks, when you ask that question, you answer that question, it says more about where you're at than anything else. Because when you're roaming through the desert looking for food, the meaning of life is staying alive. The meaning of life is your next meal. At a different point, if everything that is of value to you is about being part of a community, being part of a tribe, being part of a family, being part of a religious organization, that your whole sense of worth and survival and everything is dependent on that, to be excommunicated would be death. Well, then the meaning of life is about that belongingness, right? And when you grow up a little bit more, and the meaning of life is about what you want to express in the world, what you have to create, something new in the world, art or some business you want to create, or some way that you want to be great, right? Well, then the meaning of life is that expression. Or when the meaning of life for you is about how am I in relationship with the earth and the planet and those around me, and in harmony with nature and spirit. Well, then the meaning of life is about coming into harmony with the wholeness, right? And all along, the joke is that spirit is saying yes every step of the way. When the guy says, the meaning of my life is my next meal, God says yes. And when the other person says the meaning of life is how I fit into this group, Spirit's like, yes. It's like there's room for all of that to be true, right? But it's partial. And it says more about the interpretive framework available to that person at that moment than anything about the meaning of life. Because in essence, the meaning of life, or the purpose of life, is something that you know directly. Right? And that's a way big tangent, I'm sorry. Okay, just a 20-minute tangent, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tim, I hesitate to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Are you clairvoyant?
Yes, I give clairvoyant readings. Actually, I was given a reading last night.
Are you a medium? Are you a medium?
I wouldn't say that I actively practice. You know, when I'm giving a reading, I'm operating from a clairvoyant space where I'm seeing the information and energy through images clairvoyantly. But I access my knowingness a lot to interpret, you know, it's like I see something, but it's packed full of symbols, it's packed full of different things. And then I kind of tune into my sense of knowing what that means or what that is about for that person, or what I should say about that.
I thought you were.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a very interesting process. And you know, I had a teacher that would say that you read to learn and you teach to remember what you know. You know, so it's a great learning process. And both reading and teaching, I see as kind of like aspects of kind of an life practice, that I read and I teach as kind of a way to grow and develop, you know, and also to, you know, create a space for others to do the same. Yeah, but you know, I think that in regards to mediumship, I I operate through mediumship to a certain degree, but not necessarily when I'm in readings. And yeah, but you'll find that you use your abilities in different moments, in different ways, or in different places, different scenarios. You know, so when I'm communicating with you know, spirit guides or angels or beings, that sometimes it's a very visual thing. I see the being and they kind of communicate to me almost like it's like a direct transmission. It's like boom, and I know exactly what they say or what the thing is about, you know. And other times it's more auditory or more telepathic, where it's like a direct thought transmission, and I have the thought, you know. So the being is present, and then my awareness is on the thoughts, and the interaction, tuning into this being, creates certain thought patterns that I can then look at and read. Or it could be images or sounds, you know, or kind of auditorily. Yeah. So, yeah. Anybody else?
You know, Tim, last week you talked or told the story of when you were in a classroom as a teenager, and you knew that you saw visions of the teacher had had a fight with her husband. I can't remember exactly the example you gave, but I often will walk in, you know, to a room and have a feeling. So it's not like I can see a vision, but the feeling is so strong in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing that comes most naturally to me. And so I was wondering if there's other ways to develop the in things that we intuit. If that's, okay.
Yeah. So what you're describing is clairsentience or clear feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and you that may be a common experience for a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
is that you pick up the information on a feeling level. You know, it's also kind of a practical example of clairsentience, is that not only is it our ability to read emotional energy and feelings, and to kind of tune in with it's kind of like it's almost like a sonar,
Mm-hmm.
or a radar. It's like you kind of read your environment through feeling. You know, the first, second, third, and even the fourth chakra, to a great degree, are very much feeling chakras. So it reads information and energy kind of on a feeling level. Whereas the fifth, sixth, and seventh chakras are more, read the energy more kind of, it's almost more mental or more informational, right? And then they each kind of do that a little bit differently. And so when you're talking about intuition proper, that's more of a fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra thing. So true, what someone would describe as kind of pure intuitive knowingness is a seventh chakra ability. And to briefly describe that, well, I'll start here. The fifth chakra also has intuitive ability, but it's very practical. It's a very practical kind of intuition, like you put your hand on your phone moments before it rings. It's like you were picking up the information before it happened, because the energy arrives before the actual occurrence arrives. And so if you're sensitive to the energy, even if you're not even conscious of it, you're like, oh, someone's going to call. Or you have the sense of the phone ringing moments before it rings, or the phone rings and you instantly know it's your friend so-and-so, and they're going to ask you about this, that, and the other thing. So it's very practical. Whereas in the sixth chakra, the intuitive ability, and this could be clairvoyant, but could operate kind of clairvoyantly, or it's more of an abstract intuition. So it's like someone gives you a math equation, and you go from seeing the math equation, doing steps 1 and 2, and then getting to step 9 just instantly. Or, like investigative detectives, it's like the Sherlock Holmes type of intuition, where it's like you see the crime scene and then boom, your suspect. So that's kind of like, but at a seventh chakra level, it's almost like a drop that contains the whole story. It's like, boom, and kind of the whole thing. Like, not only do you know who the murderer is, but you know that part of the motive was about his relationship with his mother. Or something really, it's kind of like you get the whole drop of the experience, like the whole thing, right? And it might take you 15 minutes to explain that intuitive knowingness. Okay.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. So let's jump in to kind of getting you here and working with some of the tools that we kind of introduced. All right. So start to get comfortable, find your seat, put down your cocktails. Oh. Okay. And just take a moment to choose to give yourself a few deep healing breaths. And start by just saying hello to your breath. And then say hello to all the places that your attention has been today, in the last week, and create the image of a rose, however you imagine that, to attract, like a magnet, all the places that your attention has been. Is your attention on other people? Is your attention in a place? Is your attention in a conversation? in a situation, an event? Is your attention in the past? Is your attention in the future? You might notice that your attention is saying, oh, I can't let go of this because if I let go of this, I'm going to forget to do it. Forget that at the grocery store. So just drop all that for a moment. Give yourself permission to bring your attention back to yourself and have it all collect into this rose. Then when all that has taken place, give this rose like a gift to your crown chakra at the top of your head. It's like your attention and awareness is the gift. It's valuable. Marketing firms spend tremendous amounts of energy for your attention. It's valuable. So give yourself back your attention. And go one step further and be aware in your body, starting with your toes and your feet. And give your feet, your toes, your body, the gift of your attention. And be aware in your feet. Be aware in your legs. Be aware in your pelvis and your hips. Notice any tension and let it release. Be aware in your lower abdomen and your lower back. Be aware in your chest and your upper back. Even be aware in all of your organs. Be aware in your arms and your hands. Be aware in your shoulders, your scapula. And be aware in your throat and your neck. Be aware in your face and your head, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Be aware in your head, like the top of your head, and even be aware in your hair. Notice that you can be aware of your body from the inside. And just experience that. How do you feel about your body? Take a moment just to choose to appreciate it. And then be aware of your whole body at the same time. Notice that you can be aware in your body, and that there's also a portion of your awareness that is not limited to your body. Now, be aware in the center of your head. The center of your head is like the driver's seat. The car may be full of all sorts of people with all sorts of directions, but essentially you in the center of your head makes the choice to turn left or right, or to go straight. It's the place where you have the ability to choose and to be kind of in the seat of command. So start to experience what it's like when you're in the center of your head. You can even notice any discomfort, any other energies or beings that are present in or around the center of your head, and imagine starting to release them. You can even put a grounding cord on the center of your head, and it's kind of like flushing one of those really strong toilets. It's like kind of flush out the center of your head, and then smile in the center of your head. Now, from that point in the center of your head, say hello to your first chakra at the base of your spine. Appreciate the first chakra for all that it does for you, all of its functions. This is your the center of self-preservation, all of your information and abilities around survival. So give your first chakra space to be as it is. Take a moment to kind of notice it. You may notice that it's a certain color, that it's moving in this way or that way, that it has a certain quality to it, a certain feel to it, a certain atmosphere to it. And then notice what the center of the earth looks like to you, and just imagine that. And then create a tree trunk or a cord of energy that connects your first chakra to the center of the earth. And you're just kind of sitting on it. And then whatever you imagine is totally fine. When you ground, it's like giving yourself permission to be here now in present time on this planet, in this body, having space. So notice how much permission you have to be here in your body, on this planet, in this time. And ask the Supreme Being to repair the permissions for you to have this body, to have your connection to the earth, and to be here on this planet, in this time, in this body, in this lifetime. Okay? And you can allow any energy that's in your body or space that's creating tension, stress, or strain to effortlessly ground down the grounding cord. The grounding cord resists nothing. It's totally neutral, regardless of the quality of the energy that it's releasing. It just does what it does. And it releases energy from your body and your space that is kind of excess or finished or foreign to you. So when you encounter foreign energy, it goes right through you, down your grounding cord. And then you don't become the effect of the energy that you encounter, the energy that you handle. Okay? Be aware in the center of your head. Give yourself a deep breath. Let go of any concern. Now say hello to the earth energy below your feet and have a sense of tapping into a quality of earth energy, a vibration, a color of earth energy that you like. And imagine it coming up to your feet chakra like two streams of energy, one to your left foot, one to your right foot. And it connects and engages with your feet chakra at the bottom of your feet. And comes in, starts to move in the chakra, come into the feet, filling up your entire foot. And then it engages the leg channels, comes up the legs to the knees, enters through the knee chakras. The chakra, again, is just a little energy concentration, almost, or an energy center. And as it goes through the knee chakras, it becomes more refined. And then it comes into the thighs, all the way to your first chakra at the base of your spine. And about 85% of it goes back down your grounding cord. And it creates this little cycle. So just appreciate that cycle. To whatever extent you know or see or experience this is totally fine. Okay? So let that happen. And then say hello to the cosmic energy. You can imagine just like saying hello to kind of a source of cosmic energy kind of on the edge of the universe, kind of like a gold quality of cosmic energy, and have it come over you, come down and into the back of your seventh chakra at the crown of your head, kind of like a gentle fountain or stream. And it engages the back of the crown chakra and then separates into 4 channels, 2 on either side of the spine. And it comes down through those channels effortlessly, smoothly, down to the first chakra. Imagine about 15% of that cosmic energy continuing down the grounding cord into the center of the earth. The other 85% of that cosmic energy mixes with 15% of that earth energy in the first chakra. And there's a little pumping action that happens kind of right underneath the first chakra. And this mixture comes up the front channels, 2 on either side of the midline. And it goes through each chakra, through the first chakra, the second chakra, third chakra. Third chakra is right at the solar plexus, underneath the rib cage. Into the fourth chakra right at the chest. Up to the fifth chakra right at the base of the throat. The sixth chakra right at the forehead, behind the eyes. And the seventh chakra at the crown of the head. And it comes out of the seventh chakra like a fountain of gold energy. And a portion of this mixture branches off at the chest, goes into the shoulders, down the arm channels, and out of the hand chakras in the center of your palms. And again, that kind of fountains out as well. Now, just be aware in the center of your head, kind of observe this process. Notice if you're trying to feel it. A feeling chakra is a slower way to read energy. First, you see it, and then you start to feel it. It's kind of secondary. So just know that this is happening, that you're running the earth and cosmic energy, that you're grounded in the center of your head. And just imagine what that's like. You may start to feel it, you may not. It may take a few minutes to feel something happening. It may take months to feel anything, or years to feel anything. So in a way, you can't rely on your feeling as a way to make this real. It's real because you have certainty as spirit that this is what's happening for you. When you operate from the center of your head as spirit, everything happens with certainty. Now imagine your crown chakra becoming all golden in color. Good. And then create a rose in front of you and have this rose collect up all of your amusement. Wherever you've let it go, and bring it above your head and shake it over your head. Have it come down into your sixth chakra, into the center of your head, and be amused in the center of your head. Just choose to be amused. Notice that you can generate any quality of energy, that it's a choice, that you can be amused, even if nothing is funny. Notice that you can also choose to be happy with yourself without requiring yourself to change in any way. That you can be happy with yourself before anything happens. Or that you can choose to love yourself before you do anything, before you change in any way. It's just a choice. You know, love yourself like you would love your own child. It's like you love that child before they do anything, before they become anything. It's just present. And give yourself a deep breath. And then imagine a big gold sun above your head. And have that gold sun full of your life force and energy. And give that gold sun to yourself like a gift. Give it to your seventh chakra. And fill in completely in your seventh chakra. Fill in your sixth chakra. And your fifth chakra. And your fourth chakra. And your third chakra. Have that golden sun come all the way down to your second chakra, right below the navel. And your first chakra right at the base of the spine. Have some of it come down the legs, down the grounding cord, into the feet, down the arms, into the hands. And then fill in every part of your body from the deepest part all the way to the surface of your skin, all the levels of your body. And have it come out of your skin and fill up the space around you, all the way to the edges of your aura. And ask the Supreme Being to repair the permissions for you to have yourself, to have your energy, your life force, and to have whatever it is, whatever spirit is wanting to give you. Give yourself permission to receive with gratitude the abundance that you already have in spirit. There's not a block in what spirit is willing to give to you. Any limitation on that is self-created. So ask the Supreme Being to give you the grace to release any limitations you have on receiving spirit. And fill up completely. And then come out of meditation, kind of bend over and dump out any excess. Yeah. Any questions before we get into the next body of information?
I have a question about the direction of the cosmic energy and the earth energy.
Yeah.
So in the lineage of Qigong that I've been practicing, the energy starts at the Dantian, goes down the front and up the back. So
Yes.
in my mind, I'm a little hesitant or confused to have the cosmic energy going down the back.
Yes.
If you tell me you tell me it's okay.
It's a great question. And actually, I had that same concern because I first learned Qigong. And so the small heavenly orbit, the large heavenly orbit, going around the, you know, the governor and conception vessel, and all that. That was my first, you know, kind of body of information about how to run energy and get energy and movement. And then I was introduced to this later on, and I kind of had to reconcile, how do these fit together?
Yeah.
You know, how to, and so energy can move through the channels in a lot of different ways. Okay. And actually, sometimes energy will run in opposing directions as a way to kind of like, the energy goes one way through one channel that allows the energy to go the other way through another channel.
Okay.
So actually, you can be running earth and cosmic energy simultaneously to running the small heavenly orbit, and that they don't oppose each other. Right? You know, and so depending on what you are trying to do, you may run your energy in different ways.
Okay.
You know, so in some, depending on what you're trying to do, sometimes you bring the energy down the front conception vessel, which is right along the midline, down below the perineum, up the spine through the conception or through the governor vessel, and it kind of makes this cycle. And your tongue meets, and it, yeah. And a lot of Qigong practice helps to kind of clear out that cycle. And they call it the small heavenly orbit. And others may be familiar or not, doesn't matter. And there's other practices that actually bring the energy down the spine and up the opposite. That's depending on what you're doing, right? And kind of what you're trying to achieve. And it may bring you into different kind of states and stuff like that. So yeah, that can be happening, and you can be running the earth and cosmic energy in this way, and it could be happening simultaneously. They don't oppose each other. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
When we begin the meditation, and we're sending energy into the ground, is that negative energy that we're releasing, or?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
You know, but anything that is foreign to you will kind of naturally release from your space once you give yourself a grounding cord. And anything that is yours, so, you know, the body is energy, but the body is a very, very highly sensitive instrument, so to speak. So it's, you know, when it encounters a lot of very charged energies, it kind of goes, it frazzles. You know, you've experienced this. I know you all have. When someone approaches you with all sorts of very charged emotional energy, and you're not kind of in a space to handle that, and you walk away with your hair standing up on end. And you're like, what happened to me? You know, or you know, kids come with all the abundance of energy that they have, and they're all over you, and they're jumping on you, and I want this, and then the next one says, I want that. But not only that, but they all say it at the same exact time. And you've got to multitask in a million ways, and you're scattered and blah, blah. And you're handling all that energy. Well, if you're grounded, if you're connected to the earth, it's kind of like grounding a high electronic device. You know, how some plugs have like an extra grounding cord, right? To release any excess energy so it doesn't get overloaded and burn out. It's kind of like that. You're plugged in to the earth so that any excess energy can just kind of go down the grounding. You know, and that's something to look at in meditation, is what happens to that energy, when it goes down the grounding cord into the center of the earth? You know, what happens to it? Well, you know, often people have a concern that they're going to lose their energy, that they're going to let go of their energy somehow. Well, anything that's yours will naturally come back to you. You know, but as you release, sometimes we think other people's problems are our own, and we put all sorts of energy into the problem, so to speak, trying to solve it, fix it, make sense of it, analyze it, heal it, you know, figure it out, intellectualize it. And, you know, and when in truth, when you release it, that what's yours will come back to you. And what's not yours will essentially go down to the center of the earth, be neutralized, and return to the people that the energy belongs to. So it's actually almost like an act of service to those people around you. You know, all their energy might be in your space, or their attention might be in your space, or whatever. But as you release it, then it has an opportunity to return to them. Not only that, but it returns to them neutralized with a lot less charge. And we're going to work next week with managing your mental image pictures. And you'll find another tool to release energy. And then that can be used in many different ways. But today, well, first, is there anybody else with a question before I go into kind of the next topic? Okay. So what I wanted to go into today was how to reset your energy at a crown chakra level. So every color is a vibration or a quality of energy, a level of awareness, a level of consciousness. Okay, so we're going to work with exploring that a little bit and how to reset your energy at a crown chakra level, and then kind of playing with what is it like when your energy is set at different vibrations. So at the end of the meditation, I had you set your crown chakra at a gold vibration. And often I will use that color of vibration. Gold energy is the energy of non-resistance and forgiveness. So it's a great energy to set your crown chakra at when you're running your energy, and it helps to clear out karma. I leave a pause intentionally just to gather up all the question marks that just came my way. What is karma, right? Well, essentially, when you forgive, you end karmic cycles. Okay, just to put that very simply. When you're done with something, when you're done with a karmic cycle, essentially, you decide, I'm ready to let go of this. I'm ready to forgive this and to go a different way. Okay, so to run your energy, especially at gold, helps to kind of quicken that process, accelerate the process of clearing the karmic cycles. Okay, so it's a great thing to do. And so let's actually just jump right into this. Okay, so start to get comfortable again. and bring your attention back to yourself. Close your eyes. Give yourself a deep breath. Let go of all your questions and concerns. Now, if you've left the center of your head, just bring your awareness back to the center of your head, or just instantly be aware in the center of your head. And take a moment to say hello to yourself as a being in the center of your head. From the center of your head, say hello to your body. From the center of your head, say hello to your grounding cord. Just notice what it's looking like. Maybe it's changed a little bit. If you don't like your grounding cord right now, just drop it without any effort and instantly create a new grounding cord exactly the way you'd like it to be. Try it out. Okay, as you get that set for yourself, say hello to the earth energy that's running. Say hello to the cosmic energy that's running. Say hello to the mix of earth and cosmic energy that's running up your front channels, connecting in with each of your chakras. Kind of cleaning out each chakra as it goes along. When you run your energy, it's great healing for your body, your energy channels, and your chakras, and your space. It's a great way to clean house. From the center of your head, notice the earth and cosmic energy coming down your arms, out your hands, up your face, out the top of your head, into the space around you, down to the earth. And then notice the color or vibration of your crown chakra. Just notice what color it's at. It's just information. Just the first thing that comes to you is the first thing that comes to you. That's correct. It may not be gold anymore. You may notice that it shifted in vibration. Now it's more of a blue or green, okay, or a pink or something. And then just choose to allow it to become all gold. However you want to imagine that. You can even imagine taking a psychic wand and tapping the crown chakra and making it all gold. You can get creative here. Or you can just imagine it just becoming gold. And then as it is gold, now you're vibrating at a gold vibration at a crown chakra level. And notice what it's like to vibrate at gold. Notice the space that you're in when your crown chakra is vibrating at gold. What's the quality of that energy? And how does it change and affect the space that you're in? Notice how you feel in that vibration. Notice your thoughts and images and and any memories that you have. Essentially, notice how that vibration affects your awareness. And then decide to bring the vibration of your crown chakra to a brown and have it become all brown in color, kind of an earthy brown. Now your crown chakra is vibrating at a brown. And notice the quality of the energy and how it affects your space, your awareness, and your energy. Notice that you can have your awareness and your neutrality at brown. And just smile. Notice what you're aware of. At brown, that was not present at gold. Okay. Now decide to bring the vibration of your crown chakra to a red color, kind of a deep, vibrant red. And notice how your energy, awareness, and space changes as you set your crown chakra at a red vibration. Okay. Now this time, I want you to imagine that your crown chakra is becoming all yellow. Notice how your space changes by changing the vibration that you're vibrating at a crown chakra level. The crown chakra is kind of like the master chakra, the master control. Awesome. Then I want you to bring your crown chakra to a clear blue. And experience your energy, your awareness, your space at blue. Okay. And then decide that you're done with that color and bring your crown chakra to a green. And then be aware of what it's like to vibrate at a green vibration. Notice the quality of green as it differs from the quality of blue or brown or red or yellow. It has a different quality. So you could say it's a different world space. with its own phenomena. That's unique to you at this vibration. Okay. Now bring your crown chakra to a purple. What's it like to vibrate at purple? Okay. And then drop that. Have your crown become all gold. And notice what it's like to come back up to a gold vibration in the crown chakra. Notice your grounding. Notice running earth and cosmic energy. Be aware in the center of your head. Now this time create a big gold sun above you. And instead of bringing the gold sun into your chakras, just have it kind of have the energy come down like it's shining on you. Have it come in that way. Or you can even poke a hole at the bottom of the gold sun, have it come all the way into you, through your crown, and down into all the chakras, filling up your central channel, all your channels and body and everything. Coming out your skin into your space. Create another big gold sun above you. This time bring it down, but have it as big as your whole aura, as big as your whole space. And have it fill up your space, chakras, and body at the same time. This is when it's okay to be full of yourself. Okay. And then you can start to come out of meditation, bend over and dump out. A couple things to say about that. So you can really play with this, resetting your crown chakra at different vibrations. And you can play with it in both directions. And then the other thing to kind of mention, and I kind of already said this, but that every color of, or every frequency is, in a way you could say it's like its own world space. So you may notice that when you're vibrating in a certain color, that your experience is different, that your awareness changes, that the types of thoughts and images and feelings and memories that you have start to shift. It's like a whole nother set of memories, a whole nother set of thoughts. You know, when you bring it down to a brown vibration, you may notice that, oh, things are slower at brown, or that there's just less input at brown. You know, it's kind of like coming down, coming below a lot of where most of the world is operating. You know, and then you bring your crown chakra up to a certain vibration and it seems busier, like there's more people at that vibration or something. Or if you go up to a really high vibration, you may notice that there's less people because it's such a high vibration. There's less, or that you have a sense of wanting to go out of your body or something like that. Or that you feel like you're falling asleep or going into a dream or into a deep meditative state or something. So there's lots to explore here with just this little shift. Does anyone want to comment on their experience?
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay. I had a hard time accessing the color vibrations, especially the yellow, green, and brown. I could not get those at all.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, sometimes that is a very common experience where some colors, it's very easy for you to imagine. You can see it very easily. And then another color, it's like hard to imagine that color. Or you have resistance to that color. Okay?
I
So just, yeah.
go ahead. I had a hard time with gold, which makes me a little nervous because I know that gold, comes up a lot with, your meditations. So, I think of the sun as yellow, and I'm not sure how to think of gold.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all great stuff to notice, to be aware of, and because what's happening in a way is that whatever's present for you at those vibrations will light up, will come into your conscious awareness. There may be certain colors that you have an aversion to for some reason. And when you encounter situations or people that are in that world space or vibrating at that frequency, you have an aversion to them too. Okay, so it's part of what happens is that as you play with this, what you're playing with in a sense is maintaining your neutrality through different vibrations, right? And just noticing what comes up in those different kind of vibratory world spaces for you.
Yeah, like I noticed the gold being, well, neutrality, I guess is a good word, but it felt very sort of centering, like unmovable in some ways, like whatever. It didn't affect me. And then I noticed like brown, I felt all of this energy almost pushing me down, like almost like really strong, being drawn into earth. But then with blue, I felt really elevated, like I was out of my body almost. And green made me feel really expansive, like I was widening out. So for me, it was all sort of in a sense of felt sense in my body, more than I had images or memories. I could feel the energy moving in different ways.
Totally. Yeah. And that kind of speaks into the clear sentient ability as well. You describe it very well, and I think others might resonate with that, is that we are in the habit of saying, if I feel it, then it's real. If I feel it strong enough, then it's real. Like when you go, certain, have you ever heard someone say, do you feel me? Kind of like,
Oh, you know what I'm feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you feel me? Like, are you resonating with me at a feeling level? And am I real to you? So there's a way in which we kind of gauge our reality sometimes at a feeling level. It's kind of where our certainty is. Okay. Somebody was in the process of asking a question. Sorry about that.
I feel like I missed chakra 10 something or other. Like what, because some of the phrases that you use, this is all new to me. I knew what chakras were. I knew to go someplace and have the chakra opened, and but that's my knowledge. You know,
Mhm.
this in-depth. So did you teach something else that I missed?
No,
I
not
remember,
necessarily.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing your name in the booklet, but I can't remember. I just feel like I don't have the knowledge that I
Sure.
need to
Mhm.
to really grasp this.
No problem. Wherever you are kind of starting at with this information is totally fine. As we continue, things are going to be, I'm going to continue to reiterate things again and again and again. And so the information can be, just kind of let it wash over you at first. If it's new to you, you know, just let it wash over you for a little while, and then, you know, it'll start to make a little bit more sense as we continue.
Okay, will do.
You know, I'd just like to confirm that because that's kind of what
Oh, yeah.
started my question in the beginning. And I'm a head person, I guess. I think a lot.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I think I should know in order to get more out of whatever is happening. So what you're saying is just be with it where it's happening and be patient, I guess.
And the rest
Mhm.
will come.
Yeah, exactly. I know I
Yes.
don't do process very well. And so that's part of what this is, I think, is the process of growing in the awareness of the chakras.
Right. And yeah, your point at the start, and, you know, continuing in this question too, or this comment, is really good, really helpful. Because in these classes, in a way, it's less about all the information that I'm going to give you, and more about creating the space for you to have the experience of whatever the thing is. Have an experience. What is it like when my crown chakra is vibrating at gold? And you notice that I'm not telling you what to experience. There's nothing you need to be experiencing, anything in particular. Whatever the experience for you is correct, you know, and it might be this today, and a week from now, it might be different. It might be more, it might be a more fuller experience. And so it's that bringing the awareness to the different tools, different information, again and again and again. That repetition actually starts to clear the way for it to become, for you to have it more and more and more. Okay. And so to, you know, Susan, to kind of comment on what you're describing, it's like, okay, you could go and look up a diagram of the chakras, a description of the
Right.
chakras, and it could be very detailed, it could be very sophisticated. And in my opinion, does that really help you at all? Well, maybe, you know, in a way, I think we are in the habit of saying, okay, I've read about this, so I know it. You know,
Yeah,
like you
right.
could read about how everything in the universe is connected, but do you really know it? Like, do you really know it in your consciousness? Or is it just an idea in your head?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or is it a felt experience,
Yeah.
a genuine knowingness? And so it's the
Right.
same kind of thing. You know, is everyone who, you know, read about how the universe is interconnected enlightened just because they read the book? No, of course
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You know, just like every, you know, physicist who's talking about things that sound very mystical, you know, is not an enlightened being. You know, or, you know, they would even say, oh, I wouldn't even compare this to mysticism, you know, or whatever.
Right.
But the point being that that awareness, before it is anything else, is a direct and immediate perception of data. So when you become aware of anything, that you first directly and immediately know that thing. However you do that. So when you encounter a tree, before you even name it as a tree, before you even say, it's an oak tree, it's this tall, it looks like this, that the first thing that happens is this direct and immediate perception of the isness of the isness of that, before it's that tree, right? And so awareness, before it's anything else, is intuitive. And so but we're not trained that way, right? We're trained that, well, if you want to know that tree, then look it up in the manual, find out what the name of it is, how old it is, what kind of fruit it produces, blah, 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 blah. Then you'll know the tree. But do you know the tree more in that way? Or do you know the tree more in that direct and immediate knowing of the tree? Right? Two different modes. And one's not wrong and one's not right. It's just don't confuse them. Right? That you're not going to know your chakras. You're not going to know your energy running by staring at a diagram. That you're going to know it by knowing it, by knowing it, it's an intimate, intuitive knowing of it. And you know, when you get to know someone for the first time, it takes a while to really know someone. The first time you're kind of closed off in this way or that way, or they're closed off in this way or that way. And as you relax, become more and more familiar and interested, curious, then the more and more it reveals itself to you. And that's the same with any of this stuff that's new, that at first it might be very little bit that you recognize. Maybe it's just a blob of, and the other piece is that sometimes the first thing that we look at is what we don't know about the chakra, or what we don't know. And so what you're looking at is what you don't know. And that's what you're seeing, is a sense of not knowing. It's very, very literal.
Thank you very much. That really helps. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Have you ever seen the way an infant looks at you or looks at the world?
Yeah.
And they just kind of, it's just this, like they can really have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just as you are. Sometimes you feel like, whoa, you're seeing too much of me. You know, it's like almost unsettling to be seen to such a full degree, because they're having you before they've even laid down much of these interpretive frameworks.
Yeah.
That make sense of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense? And so these interpretive frameworks can actually act like filters that filter the space between our direct and immediate perception of something. And so then we're perceiving it through all these interpretive filters. Okay, but that's more of getting into what we're doing next class with managing your mental image pictures.
Tim, I have a question. My question is, you've used the word a couple times and I don't know the word. I think it sounds like clear sentient?
Yes.
Is it 2 words, 1 word?
Clear sentience.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's clear feeling. It's it's a psychic ability that resides or is often associated with the second chakra. And it's the ability to feel clearly.
To feel clearly?
Mhm.
Yeah, to read the energy on a feeling level.
And to most people, probably their first, without further study or development or practice, show of clear sentient. Like you might walk into a room, as a lot of you have said, and feel something. But a lot of times we don't know if it's ours or if it's somebody else's. Right? So a lot of people who carry the burdens of the world might be clear sentient. Sensitive people, like a lot of artists, might be clear sentient. And it's, I think it's spelled CLARSCENTIENCE.
So
I'm not
that,
sure.
my question was, how do you sort that out? What's yours and what someone else's, and the same with the chakra colors, or is it just a matter of doing it often enough so you can recognize what's yours and realize this is coming from somewhere else?
Right, totally. Yeah, there is a familiarization process there. As you become more and more familiar with what it is that you're reading, so to speak, the more and more you read energy and bring your awareness to reading energy on any level, that you become more and more familiar with what it is that you're reading. You know, so that's definitely, and I think, I don't know any other way, you know, maybe some people are very naturally in tune to that on certain levels, in certain ways, or they use it and they're gaining practice through their life, essentially. But it can also be helpful to have tools to actually, these are kind of the foundational tools that you can use to kind of work with those abilities. And so this is kind of laying the foundation, you know, where you're learning how to get your energy in movement, how to ground, how to work with managing mental image pictures, how to work with energy in your space, resetting your energy to crown chakra level, you know, so on and so forth, filling in with your own energy. So these are just, I'm laying down the basic tools so that you have it in your awareness, you have it in your consciousness. So then you can start to creatively use these tools to perceive and work with energy in your life. And the kind of the next set of classes that I have lined up here is actually specifically geared to spend a class on each of these abilities and use these kind of foundational tools in conjunction with kind of learning about what is clear sentience, how does it operate, and how can you work with it? And then kind of going through actual exercises to explore what that's like for you, and to start to build more of an awareness around that experience of clear sentience. And then I'm going to do a class on telepathy and thought transmission and reading energy through thought patterns and how we are doing that. Because in a way, we're doing a lot of these things every day, but we don't recognize it. We don't name it as such. We don't even know that it's even called something. You know? So there's a little bit of like demystifying it that needs to happen so that you can like see real life examples. Like, how do we use this in everyday life? And how can I manage it a little bit more so that I can be safer with it, recognize it more, use it more in a way that serves me, clean it off. You know, sometimes people that are extremely sensitive in one way or another, they have to really clean off that ability because it's picked up so much information over the years. And they got to clean it out, like cleaning the earwax out of your ears. If you let it go too long, you have to go to the doctor, and the doctor does that weird thing. And yeah, not fun. So yeah, I'm gonna actually, in those second set of classes, which is just gonna be like every month, once a month. So I'm gonna do one on clairsentience, one on telepathy, one on your clairaudience, one on clairvoyance, and one on your ability to experience oneness, which is kind of a fourth chakra ability. And then, of course, your intuitive knowingness at a seventh chakra level. Okay. So I haven't really come up with content quite yet, but it's going to be interesting.
So what you mean?
Yeah.
So what you mean is, at the well, in a Zoom program like this, coming up, I'll say next semester, there'll be a series of monthly teachings on each of those. Is that what you mean?
Yes, at the end of, actually, when this ends, I think it's next week, right, Tim? We'll start that. So it'll be like October, November, December, January, February, March, and April, I think. Is that what we did? Or maybe we're skipping one of those months. I can't tell you for sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay. So we should watch the site, in other words, to know when that's coming up?
Yeah, it's called.
It's on the calendar.
So it's already on the website.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
And anyone who's taking this class, I'm like this class is important to have at least these basic tools to make sense of any of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'd be like, what is this guy talking about? Grounding, you know, because you have to be familiar with how to ground and how to run your energy, right? And then I'll probably, you know, for those who did all the classes last year, I kind of broke it down into kind of class 1 and class 2. So class 1 is what we're doing now in these 5 classes. And then class 2, I kind of added, you know, maybe 5 or 6 more tools that, you know, are definitely helpful and interesting, and I would encourage anyone to do it. But it may not be necessary to jump into that second level, may not be necessary to jump into the classes on the abilities. I'll probably stick with most of these tools. And any time that I use a tool that would be from that advanced class, I'll teach that tool. Right. Okay.
Tim, I have a question. What do you call it? I've had this experience several times. I think of somebody that I haven't thought of in a long time, and then I find out a few days later that they're really sick or they've passed on or something like that. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. That is using your abilities. And depending on how that happens for you, you might be using, you know, several or one ability more than the other. It looks to me like it's like you're using your clairvoyance in that case, where your awareness of that person comes into your awareness. It may be a visual. You think of that person. You think of that person visually. So it's kind of like a clairvoyance or kind of a knowing. And also what you'll find sometimes is that when that, that will happen sometimes when people's attention is on you. So you'll see them in your space or in your awareness. Like, oh wow, so-and-so is thinking about me. Or it may happen where it's kind of like you're being reminded to check in with that person. And then so you get it like that too. Yeah. But yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Can I get back to the technology of all this? I'm so unfamiliar with this Zoom process. For instance, when she records these messages or these classes, and I know they're on whatever it is, like YouTube, but how long do we have access to that? In other words, I use the rehearing of the class to stabilize it within myself, but I don't know how long that's going to last. So how long do the classes stay up on the other method of connection?
I can check with Mary Fishman how long she's keeping them up, but as far as I know, they're on the Wells private YouTube channel, so they're there.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So,
and all right, I get them. All right, thank you very much.
Bridget,
Yeah, so
what
it's
is,
definitely a way.
Today it paused, and I didn't notice when it started to pause because it was during our meditation. So hopefully we didn't lose too much with that.
what is the Wells site? I mean, how do you do that? Is it on the?
It's called CSJ The Well, if you go there, but Mary Fishman last week sent it out to the group.
Right.
Right.
I'm sure
I
she'll do
saw
that
that.
again.
Yeah.
So she'll
Okay.
send
And
the
then you-
link again because, you know, we don't really want it public,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's, so it'll be sent just to you, and Mary will do that again.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I had an experience with recording or, you know, opening up the recordings. Then you're on YouTube, and under, you know, on YouTube you can save. So I tried that and I saved it and I got it in my, because I have a YouTube icon or app. Then I pull up the app and I go to library, and there's Tim right there.
Oh, oh, thank you. Yeah.
Into you know, the 2 sessions. So otherwise I always have to go back to I try not to delete the email, but that's hard when you get so many emails. So
then anybody can get it? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's private, so only this group can get it.
So when you get it for Mary Fishman, you know, and open it up, you'll be on YouTube. So
I
then
see. Okay.
once you get that YouTube, then you just have to hit share, or, you know, once the share, or when I forget, keep or whatever it is, but there's little directions underneath it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can I share one thing? So last week I was feeling pretty light, and I was really checking in with my, and I don't know, you know, what you call it. I don't know anything about what you're talking about, but I just felt very grounded and I felt very light at the same time. And I was in line at Whole Foods, and the man in front of me was chatty to the, you know, checkout people, and turned around and said hi to me. And then I went to pay for my stuff, and the woman said, "The man in front of you paid for it." And it just brought me to tears. And I don't know if there was any coincidence there.
I would say no. I'd say no.
Okay.
You know, you could say in a way that as you practice this, that you're continually allowing yourself to receive or to have more and more of yourself, more and more of spirit, more and more of your life. And so I'm not totally surprised by that. It's like you know, you were in a space to receive. You know, in a way you can say that spirit is givingness. That there, you know, like, you know, I don't know where this is from exactly, but like it says the rain or the sun shines on the wicked and the kind just the same. That spirit is givingness. And spirit is also havingness. Spirit can have anything. It has everything, right? There's nothing that it can't have or give space to. When you have something, you're able to give it space to be fully exactly as it is. So you're able to have that much more. And so a lot of these practices, it's really about awakening your ability to have more and more, right? Every time you bring your awareness to something in yourself that you might not have been aware of before, you're able to have more of some aspect of your awareness. So you're having more and more of your life. Okay, but we'll get back to that. That's actually, for those who have done last year's classes, we kind of, in level 2, we kind of really work with the concept of having and havingness and how to work with that. But I'll talk and see when I'm going to offer that course as well. It might be starting in January or something like that. But for anyone in this class, you can do the monthly classes that will be kind of starting the week after this course ends, because you'll have enough of the material to make sense of some of that. And then we'll just kind of bring the attention or the focus of the class on these specific abilities and kind of just explore it. What is it? How do you work with it? And how does it show up in your life? How do you recognize what's yours and what's not yours and that sort of stuff? All that stuff to try to kind of get to. Alrighty.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks so much, everyone.
All right, have a good week, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
continue
Tim.
to play with this. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Everybody.
Thank you.